Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Microsoft MVP Morning Show. It's 26th of February, and I'm joined by very distinguished guest and brother of mine, Rahat from Montreal. How are you doing, bro?
Hey bro, I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm doing good. After storm, we survived more than 24 hours without electricity, but
Really?
oh yeah, it was kind of tough on southern Canada as well as Michigan as well. So, how about things going at Montreal?
It's cold. Yesterday it was like maybe minus 25, but it was not that bad. Uh, yeah, there was no electricity issues. It's just like to go out, it was a bit hard, but other than that, it's fine.
Awesome, awesome. So Rahat, I know you and me are, being executives and leader into our, technology and ecosystem of AI and Azure. Let me understand from you, what is the biggest challenge you are facing nowadays when you are looking to grow your, AI practice and cloud services?
We see two key issues in the in terms of like growing scalability right now. One is compute, and another one is cost. So obviously, when you're training a model, you cannot train your model on your laptop because those data sets are big. You need cloud like options where you need a big VM. Sometimes you need distributed computers, and also you need to deploy your model on a lot of pods. So that's one of the thing Microsoft is working like to bring a lot of new solutions under Azure Machine Learning Compute. And the cost is, how cloud cost works. You are the expert in this case.
Oh, let me share one example. For one of our very biggest client, gaming client, I did, 40% saving for them, and 40% is not about $100, like $1 million, and they are very diversified in Australia, North America. These are the particular region, and that's what I want to present because cost optimization. Most of time we overlook it. We don't
Yeah.
know the principle, we don't know
Hmm.
the cost optimization well architect framework. Whenever I talk to so many architects who came for interview or discussion, they were not aware how to look at that. So having said that, that would be excitement, and keep tuned,
Let's
and let me make you host and you can
Yeah,
go.
I can do like a quick review on the Azure Machine Learning Compute, how people can have those type of compute facilities, and you can also like talk about the cost side. How can we like reduce cost and make it more optimized?
That
Okay,
sounds
can you
great.
see my screen?
It's coming, and we are all set now.
Okay, as my presentation says that Azure Machine Learning Compute, we will talk about that topic. And one of the reason is when you are designing data science model, you need a lot of like compute power, different types of like compute machines. Now the question is, what is compute? What does it offer? That's the first thing. Compute machine gives you an environment where you can run your code. So suppose writing your code in your laptop in a Jupyter notebook or Python, but there are so many limitations to run those code in your laptop as to have bigger machine, bigger RAM, lots of like a GPU support. You need a proper compute power where in a proper dev environment, QA environment, or secure environment, you can push your code, you can connect your data sources with the code and run them to train your model. And when we are talking about Azure Machine Learning Compute, there are also like needs to be different types of compute. One is CPU, one is GPU. When you're training tabular based like models, you need CPU. That is enough, like a regression model, classification model, recommendation model. But when you're training image processing, video processing, or natural language processing based model, you need GPU. So just an example, the chat GPT that we see, they had to use, if I'm not wrong, 380 plus 800 most powerful GPU machine for 3 months to train it. And each 800 GPU machine is extremely expensive to have. And as I was saying, the virtual machine or the GPU machine or CPU machine size depends on the type of model you are training, how complex the model is, and how big of a data set it is. The bigger the data set, the bigger complex the model is. You need to like you will generate more virtual data. That's why you need like a bigger GPU, cache, GPU storage, RAM as well. And also security is a big part where as you will push your code, connect your data will have a lot of IO. So efficiency of the model training largely depends on how close your data and your compute is. So one of the thing also like I want to like quickly share with the audience that what is the importance of this compute, like why we need to choose the right compute machine. So the first thing I see is we use compute to develop our code and also like test our code. So as we are writing the code, we are pushing the code, and then the compute is somewhere where it is running. So it is very important for development and testing. As I was saying, when we are training big model, one compute machine is not enough. You need 4 or 5 compute machine working together. So for that distributed model training of large scale model, you need that type of distributed facilities or compute cluster. Uh, for scalability and cost efficiency, as you will talk about the cost, but again, that managed compute cluster is very important. GPU based model training, you are not going to buy a GPU just to train a model for 1 week. You need to rent the GPU so that you can use it. So that's why cloud compute is extremely important. And also like when you're deploying your model, doing real-time inferencing, batch inferencing, you also like you don't need a bigger compute for inferencing. You need like small pods and hundreds of pods in that case. So having a good Kubernetes cluster will always help you. And obviously, the most important part is security. If you do it by yourself, you need to maintain integration, VNet integration, key vault, private endpoint. That's a lot of things to manage. But in terms of the Azure machine learning compute, everything is there. It's a complete package. You just spawn it, use it. All the private integration, key vault is already there. So now the question is, what type of like compute we get within Azure machine learning? We get 4 types of compute. First one is compute instance. Second one is compute cluster. Third one is inference cluster. Fourth one is attached compute. I would like to just give like a quick demo in a minute just to show what, yeah, what type of compute we are talking about. So for that one, I need to share my screen again. This one. Yeah. So this is my Azure Machine Learning Studio, Azure Machine Learning platform. Can you see my screen? I
Yes,
guess
I
so.
can, my friend.
So you go to compute under this managed cluster, like managed section, click compute. Then you see there are like 4 options, just like the way I was telling, there are 4 types of compute, you see 4. The first one is compute instance, where it's a single machine. You write your code in your laptop, you spawn this single machine, and then you push your code to run, run your code in this machine. So in my case, if I click new, I can mention a compute name. So suppose morning show comp 1. Okay. I can select the location. I can select which type of machine I want, CPU or GPU. And also like depending, there are also like some recommendation as well, and the cost and the core and everything. So I can just click and it will be creating for myself. You can see it's creating. So what I can do, so I have already one created AML comp 1 and it's running. So what happened if I click on this one, Jupyter like a lab, it is, so this compute is running, and when I'm clicking it, it's spawning a Jupyter lab instance on this machine for me. And then I'm just creating Python 3.8 environment. So it's ready. So if I just like write, print, just very basic things, hello world, all I want to test, can I run a Python code on this compute? You can see, boom, hello world, it's done. So I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to set up anything. All those things are coming with the machine, and all those Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Hub, VS Code, Terminal, Notebook is already installed. All I need to do, click, and then it's open, and I can write my code, deploy my code, and do whatever I want to do. Then I can also have a compute cluster. So as I said, it's a single machine. If you need 5 to 6 machine, because if you are working with a bigger data set, you select something like this, compute cluster. You click next, and then you can select number of nodes. If you need 10 nodes, you can select 10 nodes. And if the minimum is 0, you're not starting anything. But whenever you are starting your code, it will automatically start from 1 and then automatically maximize the number to 2, 3, 4, something like that. And it will take 120 seconds to scale down or
It is
scale up, something
auto
like that.
scalable as
Auto
well.
scalable.
Oh, that's so incredible. I
And
remember.
you can select the max and mean based on your quota that is available.
That's so good.
And yeah, and it's giving you the full distributed system access, so it's very efficient.
And folks, whenever we are looking forward for the compute, usually we forgot computer is directly proportional to cost.
Mhm.
Whenever everyone is want 64 gig, but for what 5 gigs of data? Are you justifying all that stuff? So what Rahat mentioned, we have to be very cognizant what we are spinning up, why we are spinning up. If that activity can be performed by a smallest compute cluster, why we are kind of doing heavy lifting with the cluster. So all those
Yeah,
things should be considered, and these kind of advice are coming from expert like Rahat, who deal day to day their life, and we are in that ecosystem where we are facing all sort of different problems. So thank you so much, Rahat, for that.
agree. So, and the last two, just to like introduce, is Kubernetes cluster and attached compute. Kubernetes cluster is more into like deploying your model. Both basic Kubernetes and AKS compute is there. All you need to do is create it, have the quota, and deploy your model in 10, 20, 15 pods based on the configuration you need. And the last one is attached compute, where you can bring your own compute. If you have a virtual machine somewhere else within Azure ecosystem, you can connect it. You can connect your Spark Synapse pool. You can connect your Databricks or Data Lake Analytics or HD Insight. Because suppose your Databricks has a cluster running 24 hours, you can reuse that one within Azure Machine Learning. So these are the like four important types of compute that you will need to train your model, deploy your model, do distributed inferencing and training, and you can always bring your own compute.
Could
So
you
it's a very important to know that side. Yeah.
yeah, let me know about attached computes, how it's different from another.
So in this case, you're deploying a Azure machine learning AML like DSVM machine, data science virtual machine. In this case, you're having multiple nodes, having that option of multiple nodes, multiple VM working together.
Okay.
In this case, in Kubernetes cluster, you are having 2 to 3 machine, but you are having lots of pods within a 2 or 3 machine nodes. But in attached, you're not doing anything within Azure ML. So you're completely having a data, like Databricks is a different entity than Azure Machine Learning. In your Databricks, you have the VM, but in Azure Machine Learning, you don't want to create any new VM. So you can connect your Azure Machine Learning with Databricks to use that VM, which is running in Databricks. So
So
that's the best part of that. Yeah.
thank you so much, Rahat. It's so incredible. And Rahat, I could see a couple of folks are asking on the chat, and they are asking, hey, this so is one of the best so where we are getting the real-time values and we are focused on real-time challenges and showcasing them how they could leverage. I got a couple of messages which you could see in chat window as well, where folks are saying they need career path in AI and Azure. If that is something we could focus next week, okay, for AI and data
Yes.
science, these are the steps you could take. And for Azure, I will share. So,
Okay, sure. I'll
okay,
prepare something for that. Yeah.
feedback has been
So
taken. Thank you so
yeah,
much, folks. And now I think it's me,
yeah.
correct?
You can talk about cost because that's it from my side.
Okay.
A quick introduction on the compute side. Now it's time to see the next challenge, which is the cost.
It's so great, Rahat. It's so incredible, and I could say so many good stuff over there. Okay, so basically, let me share my screen, and hopefully you folks can able to see it.
Yeah,
And let
we can
me
see it.
do presenter mode as well. Okay, so this is again, as we have said earlier, this is kind of real-time problem which we resolve for a client who has very big IT footprints as well. They are into gaming and making very successful client. So what one of the real-time problem which we experience about, hey, Deepak, we are burning so many resource on cloud, which is way beyond than our expectation. What we could do, what why we are paying those. So problem statement very clear, like they were paying maybe 40x of what they should pay as per initial estimation. So I said, okay, let me look at their ecosystem. So I adhere to the 5 pillar of Azure Well Architect framework, which like cost optimization, security, reliability, operational excellence. So today I'm just focusing on cost optimization, and I have found so many gaps and cracks in the understanding of the not only developers but even architecture and architect as well, where we totally overlook it. So basically we are going to discuss about that. I will find out, okay, how you could extract service inventory by various method like custo query language and app service plan, and we will figure out under utilization source. So basically this is the real-time problem where my customer has more than 1,000 services in prod and UAT running 24 by 7. They have 300 services in the dev. Total cost they were spending in last year 2022 was $1 million. Excuse me. And we got the challenge why we are paying so much things. And it's not they could not pay that, but it is way beyond that. And we have to look at those. So what we achieve around 40% instant saving in a month by cost optimization parameter and all those things. And for example, if I have to share, I found one SKU that is into premium category P2, which we were paying around $1,600. We changed it to the category of the journal availability, which is kind of almost free of cost, around $10. So look what the difference like. And when I ask who spin up this premium, uh, resource on premium tier, no one know. And
Mhm.
what was the utilization? Under 5%, under 5% utilization of resource. So that make me think very hard, like when we are spinning up, always we think, okay, have the best resource, but are we thinking how much we are utilizing and how much we are paying for that resource? So that is one of the problems. So Azure Well Architect framework enable cost optimization, and that is we need to do, and we will take a look according to that. So basically cost optimization, managing cost of maximize the value delivered. These are the 5 parameter. I'm not going over there because I just want to focus on cost optimization. If you go to your Azure advisor, you will find cost is one of them, security, reliability, operational excellence, performance. And we have so many recommendation over there. We have to look from recommendation perspective. Okay, if there are some recommendation, why, how to implement that? And most of those recommendations are free of cost, like we are getting from the environment. And that's what we have to talk about. And that was the business goal, where we have to get return of investment, keep within the cost, and pay for the consumption and right resources and size. Would you mind to mute Rahat? There is some background noise.
Yeah.
So, cost optimization tip: pay you go, reserve instance for 1 year reservation, for 3 year reservation. 3 year, you could save up to 60%. 1 year, maybe 40% you could save. If you know those are the benefit, you could leverage on enterprise agreement that is right available. I'm not going to Azure calculated today, but sometime we will talk about that. Benefit of licensing: if you have some licensing already available, you could leverage those. You don't have to boil the ocean again and again. You could benefit like lift and shift and pause the resources when they are not required. For example, Azure SQL data warehouse, which is Azure Synapse, you could pause when your data warehouse is not required. You don't need to spin up 24 by 7. By this case, you could certainly save the compute power. So that is the beauty. So overall result was okay. Here is the result. Our score was the, like, customer score was the 14, which is really very not promising, and there was 33 critical recommendation. So we could implement those recommendation on cost optimization, and we could certainly make our customers successful, because if uh, we have to spot it in their cloud journey, and that's how we could do. And you could look over how to optimize the design of workload. Link has been given, so that we could do. What are the solution? Azure Advisor, that would be the first tool. Azure migration tool, where you could do pre-assessment, cost optimization tool, API call, and Azure CLI. So let's look over those perspective. For example, we could look over from different resources, East US 2 versus Canada East or West US too. Most of time West US is cheaper, so we could figure out and look over, okay, what is the cost optimization over here? We could certainly save good amount of money over there, and we look over this is the query which I have written, and I figure out, okay, this is the valuing East US to US, or Canada Central, and Australia East. As I have said, my customer is based in Australia and North America heavily, along with footprints in Europe. So I find out they are on premium subscription. So that is, we have to look over always where our resources are spinning up. Do we already, for example, dev resource, why we need on premium category, why we need on expensive data center, why don't we leverage for developer, for development, the cheapest data center? Those kind of things we could look over, and we figure out, okay, what are the instance limit, why, and we mentioned the scale base, the question which Rahat also mentioned over there, and we look over from that perspective. So basically we zero down to 1300 services, premium subscription for dev, that make me nerd, like, okay, why it's dev? And then I spin up Azure Dev Test Lab, which save SLA 60%, folks, 60% of your enterprise, your governance, and that governance model, and that make your customer happy. So that is so important, and we reduce so many things from there. We look over the metrics. You could see the metrics. The your resource is maximum 2% utilized, and it is on premium tier. So think from that perspective. Okay, I need premium tier. Is it more than 60%? It's even not 5%. And some of time it's not at all used. So those kind of the real-time problem we have to look over, and we have to think very cognizantly where we are going ahead. Like, why don't we could leverage basic, why, or standard, why we need to go directly up to the premier or enterprise fresh? So these kind of things we have to look over, and that fall under our umbrella. And being architect, basically we have to look over Azure Advisor every day. So basically go, this is my Azure Advisor, their client has 13 score, here I have 86% score. So most of my project I make the score minimum 70%. That is my thumb rule, otherwise I'm not going to spin up any resource. I have so many policies which stop my developer or contractors not to spin up in the premium resources. Always look over from cost management perspective, what you are looking over, where your money is getting eat, and all those kind of stuff. You could look over the budget and cost alerts as well. So this is so important. So basically I have budget set 25 bucks. This is my, my environment. I have to govern it. I should not get any last time surprise. So that's how we move ahead. And I want, you folks always look over what is the forecast, what is the actual, all those kind of things. So having said that, that is the cost optimization well architect framework. And I want you guys to be successful. We as a team got successful, and our enterprise got successful. Rahat, any feedback over here, bro?
No, that is amazing. Like you gave two nice tips. One is like whoever is using cloud platform, they need to go and check. the cost advisor. So what are the tips they have, which is automatically calculated by Azure, so that they follow that one instead of going through those premium tiers, and look at the consumption as well. If the consumption, as you were saying, 5%, then it's just a waste of money. And the cost management. So it's another quick way. It's a quick learn, I find, where any cloud administrator or like any architect can just jump in, see, and take steps or take some action plan from that and then.
That's right. And we have to think it's our money. Most of time, if we are at customer service, are we spending 60% high? Are we getting the something which is 60% more price tag from market? So look for that perspective, and that is for today, our morning show. And I believe we are able to wrap it up. We are bringing the value, and we are now working on your feedback on career path, on AI and Azure. That's we are going to do. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good one.
Thank you.